Ooh. Hello, everybody out there, or indeed maybe no one out there. This is a bit of an experiment, so we will see how it goes. So, yes, I am here with Kristian. Welcome to the Rufus Project Presents Patreon. We're trying an experimental live stream as we record our redeeming features cast for Dude, Where's My Car? We haven't started recording yet. This is just a little bit of, I don't know what the fuck we're doing this for, but let's just do it. How do you feel about it, Kristian?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know. I should be doing some kind of pretending I'm like. Can I get my? I'm trying to pretend I'm like a mime stuck in this box, but nah, I can't line it up. But yeah, Trevor.
Yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
as long as it all sounds okay, we'll try different things. Like if I'm talking really loud, or I'll put the camera a little bit further back, a little bit further. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, because I know people really love it when the audio levels go up and down
Yeah.
during
Oh,
the thing.
exactly. Yeah, Trevor, that's what I aspire for. So I'm hoping that you're on the same page.
Absolutely nothing but the purest of professional broadcasting for our patrons.
That's actually that's my first pet peeve with watch parties. There's many pet peeves. Is that you got to get the sound level right? Oh, fuck you. Sorry.
Oh, look, we can swear as much as we fucking like. Of course, when I actually edit the audio for the podcast proper, well, I'll do my usual thing of actually making it sound professional.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And I never swore at all.
No, I didn't hear a fucking thing. Anyway, on that note, we probably should look at actually getting things going. So I will hit the good old record button. Anyone watching, my Zoom's actually on a different screen. So to the software that I'm using in front of me. So I'm going to be looking in all sorts of random places as I check my notes. Like I said, this is raw podcast recording. This is podcasting on the edge.
Oh, exactly. And I think it's even awesome, even though it's raw and live. Trevor, it's pretty awesome. We decided to wear the same T-shirt as well.
Yeah, no, mine's actually got
I'm pretty impressed.
Bit of a mine's Zoolander. Blue Steel.
Oh yeah.
Oh dear.
I'll pay that one.
Oh good, but I'm
That's a
actually
different podcast. It's a different sequel.
yes. So if you want to go back through our, actually I don't think I've posted the Zoolander 2 one yet. To be honest, still getting through those flashback ones. I'm not even halfway yet, I think.
Oh gosh, and Trevor, like they're movies I must have deleted from my mind. I even now have to Google the Rufus Project site to check if we have done that movie before I suggest it. Cause
fair enough.
yeah,
there you go.
I've deleted a few from my mind.
Excellent. Okay, but this time I'm really going to press record. Here we go.
Okay.
And any minute now it should go recording. Excellent. There we go. I can see it at the top corner of my screen.
Awesome.
Alright, so we should actually do the thing. I keep looking at the cursor on my secondary screen rather than the cursor on the screen in front of me. That doesn't work very well.
Too many options, Trevor.
Too many options. Okay. Suppose I better put this intro in, hey? Okay. I'm kind of glad there's no audience at the moment. They can enjoy the replay. Okay.
Yeah, it's...
Is it worth remembering or should it stay lost? We watched Dude, Where's My Car from 2000 to see if we could redeem it. Were we successful? Find out after the theme! Which you're not going to hear right now if you're watching this live stream, because I edited it afterwards. Yes, that's the magic of podcasts.
This is the second version, everybody. Sorry. Anyway,
Oh, good. Oh, good.
serious time. Serious movie, serious time.
Game face. And I hope you like that. I've got Ashton and Sean joining me here.
Yeah, even though it's funny, I can only see Sean and I can't see Trevor. You're a bro, you're a dude that's in the car with them trying to find it. So yeah.
Shibby.
Okay, there we go. Now you just look like someone they're about to run over.
Shibby. Okay.
There we go. Better background than mine, to say.
Yeah, well, I can have a bit of fun with this computer. All right, let's see if we can do this malarkey. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hello and welcome to the Rufus Project Redeeming Features Cast. This time checking out Dude, Where's My Car from the year 2000 to see if it is redeemable. I am Trevor Holland. I am joined by my very good friend, co-host and king of cult cinema in Brisbane,
Kristian Fletcher. Thank you, Trevor.
Actually, not just Brisbane, you're king of cult cinema, full stop.
Oh, thank you, Trevor. I'm sure there's a lot of other people who would take the title, but I'll happily take it. Thank you.
It's yours. As far as I'm concerned, you've got it. Now, as I mentioned, we're going to talk about Dude, Where's My Car from the year 2000.
Yeah.
Now, there will be spoilers.
A movie that...
oh, sorry.
Yeah, a movie that I believe was it suggested, or did you come up with this one, Trevor? I couldn't remember, actually.
I did suggest it last time, after the last movie, which I don't feel like naming right now because...
Yes, and I've already forgotten what it is, so don't name it.
I won't name it. But yeah, we're talking about a movie from 2000.
Yep.
Yep. So, there will be spoilers, so if you don't want the movie spoiled, it's 20 years on, but, you know, if you don't want the movie spoiled, make sure you watch it before listening to the rest of this podcast.
And it's not really that kind of movie anyway. You can't spoil too much.
Pretty
That's
much.
my spoiler.
Indeed. Now, what I'll do is, before we get too far into it, I had a bit of a dig and I did find some awards for this one. And would you believe there's not a Razzie in sight? Now, they're all nominations.
I'm interested, actually.
Yeah, they're all nominations only. It didn't actually win anything, but the Las Vegas Films Critic Society Awards nominated Ashton Kutcher for the Best Male Newcomer. The MTV Movie and TV Awards, it was a nominee for Breakthrough Male Performance for Ashton Kutcher. And the Teen Choice Awards, because it's such a teen-friendly movie, it was nominated for Choice Comedy, Choice Actor for Ashton Kutcher, and Choice Chemistry between Ashton and Sean.
Yeah, especially during a certain car scene, which we'll probably get to. But
yes.
But isn't that interesting, Trevor? Just remembering when this came out in 2000. I googled it because I wasn't sure if it was 2000 or 2001. So this was kind of wedged between the whole when that 70s show had kind of taken off after a couple of seasons, and I think would have been after the American Pie, the first American Pie movie, but not the second one with Stifler or Sean William Scott. So looking at it from that perspective, that's kind of where we're coming in, I suppose. I do remember when it came out, but surprisingly wasn't motivated to watch it back then.
Fair enough. I don't think I saw it till well after 2000. I think I just found it at some random cheap rental one day and just went, I'll check that out. But anyway, so what we do is we'll start with our turkey trivia. So this is where we talk turkey about the movie and then get into some trivia. It's all in the name. Why do I keep explaining it? Let's move on. So this movie is rated. This movie is rated 5.5 out of 10 on IMDb. So right in the middle there. And to give you an idea, when I was looking at IMDb and I saw the lists that they have for various movies, it was on a list for the worst movies of the year 2000, and it was on the list for the must-watch movies of the year 2000. So take from that as you will.
So there you go. There's a curiosity factor there, I think, as well.
Quite possibly. Now, it had a budget of $13 million, so quite cheap, and it ended up grossing $73 million.
I'm actually really surprised. Whoa. Okay, they were stars at the time, but they weren't big stars. So even drawing that amount was quite, unusual. But there must have been a demand for bro stoner comedies at that time. I can't remember.
Quite possibly. Actually, with a bit of the trivia I found, apparently it wasn't going to be Dude, Where's My Car initially. The film story came from a rejected live-action Beavis and Butthead movie concept from the late 90s.
Oh my God, that puts so much in perspective. Glad they never did that, by the way, because that would just be like doing a live-action Simpsons. It'd just be weird.
It would be.
But yeah, I can actually see that now. Interesting. So maybe they could have made this movie even if it wasn't Beavis and Butthead. They probably should have made it in 1995 instead of 1990. It would have been probably a bit more relevant. I don't know.
Yeah, potentially. Now, when Ashton Kutcher first read the script for the film, he almost turned down the role because he thought it was very stupid. But however, but when he got to the "you got a tattoo" scene, he could not stop laughing, and that's why he took the part.
Oh, but the funny part about that, probably hasn't turned time in his career where he really could be too picky. Yeah, like it was written for him anyway. Just saying.
Yeah, quite possibly. There was a sequel titled "Seriously, Dude, Where's My Car?" that was planned but never
Oh, really?
undeveloped, and eventually it was scrapped.
Yeah, they'll do something weird and it'll come out in 10 years from now where, I don't know, maybe no one cares. I don't think they would have cared 2 years after it. The first one came out.
No, no, I think this kind of came and went, didn't it? Now,
Yeah.
Now, for some reason, this one really took me. This is the last bit of trivia I've got, and it really, I found this amazing. So, when they're at the Chinese drive-through restaurant, the Chinese characters on the speaker box read "Hayu Nei" in Mandarin, which is translated to "As there anything else?" or you could say, "And then."
Oh, Trevor, it had to come up eventually. And
Oh, I think that's going to come up a lot because let's face it, it comes up a lot in the movie.
oh my God, yes. But yeah, that is quite interesting, actually.
I just thought that was something very clever for this movie, but
And that's the thing about this movie. I think it probably took another review to kind of point it out to me, but how clever it is. It's a stupid movie, I suppose, essentially, when you look at it from the outset. But the fact that it throws in so many, I suppose, not just movie, but pop culture tropes, like a lot of that sort of visual gag stuff. It doesn't rely just on visual gags, but there's probably a lot more happening, even though it's probably appealing to a lower denominator than would probably get it or, would understand half those references.
yeah, well, you definitely can't say that not much happens in this movie. A lot happens in this movie.
Oh, I know. That's the thing. One of those movies where I literally was worried blinking or reaching to get a drink. I was worried I was going to miss a whole new thing. And I think I did do that at one point. I'm like, oh, shit, that's right. There's all the four spies suddenly appear. I'm like, oh, what did I miss? Because things do just literally zap in. And I suppose that's entertaining. And it kind of fits. I don't know what year Harold and Kumar went to the White Castle. I think it might be late 90s, it might be early 2000s, but it was very much of that kind of era. And I haven't seen a Cheech and Chong movie, but I assume, though, kind of fits that whole... I'd probably say more a Stoner Road movie where it's all about kind of getting to the end goal. But I don't know if it was just me, but you literally at the end where he goes, oh, dude, where's the car? I think in the last 30 seconds, I literally had forgotten all about that.
Fair enough. Well, look, before we talk too much more about the movie, now, as we mentioned before, this is the Redeeming Features cast. So this is where we take a movie with questionable quality, reviews, performance, reputation,
Just
and
luck.
and see if we can redeem it. So we need to set our baseline. So I went to Amazon and I dug up this review simply titled "Terrible." Now, we did not rent this movie expecting anything other than a bit of silliness. The movie was so bad, it never rose to the standard of silliness. I can only assume that one must be ingesting the local herb in order to be remotely amused by this film. This movie was worse than Dumb and Dumber, was worse than Austin Powers 2, and worse than The Life Aquatic. That said, the "and then" scene was the only redeeming part. Hey, that's our job. Too bad it occurs.
There we go.
Too bad it occurs 10 minutes into the film. This one scene keeps making you think there might be some sort of redemption before the end. No luck. I wish this could get 0 stars. But they gave it 1 star.
Oh, there you go, Trevor. Even the haters seem to mention the Chinese scene, so it has to be worth something, even if the rest of it isn't for that person. So, interesting baseline for us.
Indeed. And right from the outset, the opening text, which says the following movie is based on actual events. It's just like, you what?
Yeah, literally taking the piss. I can't even remember. Oh, that's what I was going to say. What company is this? But oh my God, Trevor, can I just say, obviously, love you, Disney. You're awesome. I've got nothing against you, but so good seeing the 20th Century Fox logo back in the innocent 2000s that does the full version without being altered in any way. So
Yeah.
we know we're going into a certain point, but yeah, that opening title, already we're throwing those tropes out there. But having now seen the movie, I'm looking back at my notes from when I've written about the opening credits before I'd seen the movie. I'm like, why are there ostriches? Why are there? And it's so funny how all of the stuff they're almost going for I've got here Bill and Ted meets Bond, which is kind of the vibe I'm getting, especially from the opening credits. And there's a few other things I'll say that's kind of Bill and Ted-ish.
Yeah. I mean, it does hit
of the way.
Yeah, it definitely hits in that sort of dopey buddy comedy. But yeah, I just thought it was like a the supporting cast.
Yeah, I suppose a buddy film. Yeah, I suppose essentially.
Oh, good.
yeah, and then at the same time too, already being tongue in cheek without establishing themselves as being too bad. Like to me, that was just with the ostriches and all that. That was just them doing their version of a Bond theme, very tongue in cheek. That was just what I was getting. And then I see Jennifer Garner's name flash up in the credits, and I'm like, what? Am I watching the right movie?
Yeah, there's a few names in this movie. There really is. But I like how just that opening credits. I was thinking more. Okay, hang on. It's the supporting cast, because the supporting cast gets a dance number in the opening credits because they've got the We Are Hot Chicks and the Nordic guys in there as well.
Oh,
then suddenly ostriches, and then the animated pussycat logo of the strip club. It's like what. Everything but the main characters sort of like featuring in this opening credits.
And as I said, I'd probably be one of those movies I'd probably watch back again and be able to go, oh, okay, that's references to that. Because honestly, in the opening scenes, what have I've actually written here? I'm already groaning about what this movie is going to be. So there you go. So that was by the opening credits. I appreciated the little touches, but yeah, I'm already wondering. And then I see, it's funny, we're talking about Jennifer Garner. I then see Christy Swanson. And I'm like, she's the actress from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Am I right, Trevor?
Yes, and many better movies as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, sorry to mention that, but I actually don't think we've looked at that movie yet, but we'll keep that for another time.
If we must. That's a bad movie.
Write it down. Continue.
But yeah, they don't waste any time at all, though. Certainly not with introducing the sort of people that Jesse and Chester are. Just they got Chester watching an animal documentary and basically just literally aping or imitating the chimpanzee that's on the screen. And
then as again setting us up for things that we're going to probably hear a little bit later, but not a huge plot thing. But yeah, we're definitely getting set up straight away, which a lot of these stoner movies do, these kind of layabouts where you are almost waiting for someone just to break through the door and go, shit, you owe us $10,000 or something like that. You've got to do something, because they usually don't waste too much time setting up stuff. But yeah. I know what you mean. They give us a pretty good impression.
Yeah, well, they don't waste time with their boss turning up saying, "Oi, where's my pizzas?"
I don't know. I don't know if it was just me, but seeing the pizza, it was a clever gag, throwing on the pizza and then one piece comes out one at a time. But I don't know. It kind of turned me off ever eating pizza again. I don't know.
They go, oh, look, there's a unicorn.
Yeah. And we fall through it every time. But again, the sort of gags or the level of humour with, what was his name? Mr. Pizza Coney or something like that. Something literally like spelled Pizza Coney or something like that. So they literally didn't hold back. And as I'll probably get to a little bit later on, we're won't say innocent 2000s, but we're still at a very politically incorrect period of filmmaking, kind of on the cusp there, where a few things don't sit too well with you. So, but we'll get to that a bit later.
Well, I mean, we might as well get that out of the way because
it's not like I'm sure we've had similar thoughts, I think like with a lot of film, especially, I don't like to say anything. I was going to say we've still got an innocence about it, the era where the movie comes out, but I think there's a lot of naivety about what is spoken about, especially in terms of transgender and what was the other thing I got here too, especially it kind of made me. I don't know if that was just me. So
Okay, so you actually broke up a bit there, Christian.
okay. Well, you did too a bit. Okay. Shit. How's that?
That's okay.
Is that okay?
It's saying your bandwidth is low. Your network bandwidth is low.
Weird. I might have to move a little bit closer somewhere else. Maybe if I go over here. Shit. Okay, how's that?
Hopefully that'll be all good.
I can't really do too much more, sorry. I'm just in the spare room. That should be not too bad, but I know it gets funny about this end of the house, but not for a couple of rooms, so that's weird.
All right. No, that's all good. That's all good. We'll get through this.
Sorry, I was going to get my notes.
Oh, okay. All good.
Cool. Sorry. Don't know how much broke up, but...
Yeah, pretty much. I missed most of your last statement. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Yeah, it was definitely one of those movies that, especially when you look at movies from, say, 20 years ago, before people were a little bit more politically correct and sort of a bit more aware of how to broach certain subjects. But in terms of dealing with a transgender person, there was definitely some interesting stuff. Even the scene with the blind kid was a bit kind of weird for me, or made me feel a bit awkward.
Yeah, I mean, certainly. Well, I mean, look, the misogyny and sexism in this movie is pretty ripe. But, it doesn't, for the era and for the time, and, it's probably not too much worse than what you see now, but certainly...
Oh, yeah.
Certainly one particular scene where they do introduce the trans character, Tanya.
That was, yeah.
And, she gives Jesse a big kiss on the lips and offers him a special lap dance, and then as soon as, she reveals that she's transgender and has a penis, he does the whole spitting and pulling his tongue in. And it's just like everything else in this movie, these two guys are so easygoing and pretty much rolling with everything up to a full-on kissing scene between the two of them.
I was going to say, they can do that.
Which is one of the highlights of the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's just like this one particular scene, this one particular thing is just too much for this one guy that doesn't seem to be thrown by anything else that happens, up to and including giant alien women.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. The second part where anything goes, I suppose. We sort of forget reality. But I don't know if it was him using the term. I might have even been the transgender person saying, I'm a gender-challenged male, which to me was a weird choice of... Mm-hmm. And again, we've got to think of the innocence of the era as well. But, yeah, it was quite a weird choice. And then when that character can necessarily have to be the villain, but you think they're going to be the main villain, and when everything's kind of rectified later on, what were they trying to get? Like, oh yeah, the suitcase with the money in it. It's kind of, oh cool, you found it, cool, thank you, bye. And there's still like 15 minutes of the movie to go. Like, it was a really weird how they set that character up as this villain that I thought was going to be consistent, but shouldn't have probably been there in the first place, or at least referred to in a better way.
Yeah, she... Like, when she did appear, though, I actually enjoyed her character quite a bit, to be honest. I found her...
Kind of, that's what I mean. She would have been a good villain to have the whole way through, rather than just some girl that gets her bag and then it's all kind of over and she moves on. Yeah, it could have had a bit more, I don't know, climactic plot development behind it, but I suppose that's stupid thinking about that for a movie like this.
Very true, very true. It turns out that the suitcase full of money is only a very minor part of the whole thing that they're trying to retrace their steps from the night before, where of course they can't remember a thing because they were wasted.
Again, one of those plots that we've got, like movies like The Hangover and Harold and Kumar and all these other sort of movies where not necessarily they forget what happens the night before. Well, yeah, probably in the case of The Hangover where they kind of wake up and have to retrace their steps. And even though we're kind of given an idea, Trevor, we still never get flashbacks as such to what really happened. So it's all been kind of pieced together, I suppose, the ultimate stoner movie, because it's all been put together in pieces.
Well, yeah, essentially you're finding out what happened along with them. So
and that's the clever bit about it. Yeah. And then I know we say no spoilers, but again, I love the big reveal at the end where we've forgotten about the whole where his bloody car is, and we find out it was really just a postal van parked in front at that split second.
I don't think the postal van was there when they first go out and do the whole
because I can't remember if there was a
Dude,
shot
was
across
big.
the road, but
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like it was the following day, I guess, that they come out and dude, there's your car, shibby.
I think I noticed that before the credits it was an hour 17, hour 18, and honestly there were some moments where I thought I was surprised they could even get to that length of the film. Like, I appreciate some of the gags, but they brought the obvious ones out, like with the tattoos and like, oh, mine says dude, mine says sweet, mine says dude, mine says
Yeah.
and we keep going. And I suppose in many ways the and then joke, it was so ridiculous you couldn't help but go with it. But then even the last gag of the whole movie is the bringing back about the tattoos again. So there were many times where they took a gag and kind of just ran with it a bit too much, but I think the movie would have only gone for an hour if they hadn't. So
very much so. They had to keep a few things coming back, but what they kept coming back, I mean, of course, Tanya, who, if you hadn't have been, I suppose, cast in such a bad light initially, I think could have been a much more fun character. But then you've got the space cult, Hail Zoltar.
Which sort of comes up in Act 3, sort of changes the whole plot, even though the plot's already been kind of weird, but yeah. And that's where sort of magical stuff starts happening, where you start to go, okay, this could be real. I'm talking scenes of the Rubik's Cube, and I don't know about you, Trevor, I know time zones and all these kind of game arcades can be kind of captivating, but I'd noticed 12 people around doing all these weird and wonderful things in the middle of the game arcade. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah. So like I mean, I suppose we'll talk about some of the other more questionable content, like with the actual bad guys being the who are you guys? We are hot chicks. Yes. Oh. Yes, you are, Leah.
Oh. Yeah, that's so. Those of you who haven't gathered that are watching, that's the kind of humour that we were kind of dealing with
here. Yeah. Sorry, and you mentioned before that they have a whole scene where we get to step away from Jesse and Chester for a while and go and spend some time with their girlfriends who are running a camp for disabled children, and the boyfriend of Christy Swanson sends the hot chicks there to mess with Jesse and Chester's relationship, and they come across a blind kid who says, I've got to touch faces to see people, and then he moves his hands down and starts fondling their breasts.
Yes, which is just and that's at the moment that they turn over and go, oh my god, but it's interesting because maybe it should have been more.
Oh, I've lost you, Kristian. And I've lost Kristian. Dear.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, I can hear you. Yep.
How do I get the video back?
Maybe don't worry about the video. Oh,
there we go.
Maybe not do the video. I think it might be a bit of a bandwidth issue for some reason.
Or do you think that's making? Is it really bad? Like.
Well, you're good for a bit, and then you start going, and you freeze, and yeah.
Be talking normally, and then it's funny, your face just goes up then. So.
Yeah, you just broke up again. Oh dear.
The only thing I can do is move closer to where the thing would be. It's kind of where it was before. How's that?
I mean, yeah, it seems fine.
Am I working? Or?
You're working at the moment. I'm just wondering if there's a...
But as you said, it'll just work for a bit. And
yeah, just wondering if there's a option. Where are the options on this damn thing? No, that doesn't work. I think I just shared the link to the Zoom chat with the entire world.
They're welcome to click it, but I don't know if it'll be of interest.
Yeah, I don't think too much is going to happen.
Oh, no. Okay, so far it's been okay since I come back, but...
Yeah, so far.
Ideal. Okay. If it plays up again, you just yell out stop or something and I'll have to move.
Yeah, no, that's all good.
Don't know what else to do.
Okay. Lots of fun. That's what we do when trying to do things off the cuff. All part of the adventure.
Dude, where's my bandwidth?
Okay. Well, let's talk about some of the other stuff because one thing I think which is consistent across stoner movies. Oh god, my settings have just turned off on the screen. Go away settings. Is is they do have pretty good soundtracks. I've got to admit, like when they're rolling through town, they just leave their friend with the pet dog that has the marijuana pipe.
Oh yeah,
and, and
quite a
voodoo,
consistent gag we've got there, but
and then like a bit of Voodoo Lady from Ween starts playing, and then was going, okay, I can get into this.
playing something a little bit different too, not just the obvious sort of thing. Probably because they probably expect to be stoners listening to this at 12 o'clock, like, not really caring too much, but hey, you picked up on it.
I always try to pick up on music if the movie's questionable, that's for sure.
Yeah. Hey, as long as there's a good soundtrack, there's got to be something good. But
Yeah.
that seems to be what it is very much about, like a whole heap of different set pieces where, by the third act where I suppose the space people kind of come through, it's kind of just like they've thrown everything at you before. By then it doesn't really matter too much. Like, I did think it was weird when the Rubik's Cube jumped up in the game arcade and started to spin around and be all sci-fi. I'm like, actually, this is the first time where it didn't feel like it could have been still somewhat real, but I was probably weird questioning it at that stage into the movie.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, it's like I almost wanted to just see more of Jesse and Chester's relationship because there's times through there. We mentioned before about the kiss where they pull up beside Fabio in the car and they're trying to outdo him, and so Fabio kisses the model that he's with. So they just have a full on casual kiss, and the sort of friendship where dudes can kiss each other is pretty cool.
But when you think about it too, she looks over like, okay, you guys going to go? And then when they do kiss, she looks mortified. And I'm like, hang on, weren't you kind of like, yeah, you next?
Yeah.
But anyway.
Guess I didn't expect them to actually do it, so, it was good that... And they look at each other for a second and then just do this nod, and it's just like, okay, that's gold. And a bit later on, I don't know why this line sticks with me. It's one of my favourite lines of the movie, is when the twins dump them, and this guy, I've got this feeling in my stomach. I think it's love. You sure you don't need to sit on the toilet? And they go through this whole conversation. He goes, oh, hang on, I've got to take a crap. And it just goes, I told you, I know your body.
Yeah, they know each other a little bit too well.
For some reason, that line, I just found that one of the funniest lines in the entire movie.
I suppose by that stage, yeah, you knew that anything could happen. They were very much the 2000s Bill and Ted, I suppose. But like, as I said, so many different set pieces and stuff. I've mentioned the tattoos and everything, but like just little funny things like just little shots, like when they had the scene with the ostriches and the ostrich just happened to like stick its head into the top of the car, just look around, like just little things like that made me laugh out loud, even though you're just like, hang on, it's just been so ridiculous. But I think once you realise where these movies are going, you can kind of enjoy it a little bit more. So,
Yeah, indeed. I mean, look, honestly, I mean, we mentioned the giant alien chick at the end, and they've got the continuum transfunctioner, which they've got to track down, and they eventually...
Yeah, I've got transmission functioner, but yours sounds better.
Yeah. Or
yeah,
they
they need to have that little pop thing so it could run the hour 23. Yeah.
Indeed. Sorry, just...
Oh, but yeah, so... Oh, gosh. But yeah, it definitely... as I said, works in the vein of those sort of stoner movies. So it probably would work a little bit better if you were stoned at like 12 o'clock than watching it normally. So I don't know.
But yeah, the whole point of they're trying to find the car, because they're trying to find the presents for the twins' birthday, because the twins have promised them, the anniversary, I think, because the twins have offered them special treats, and the whole way through they think it's going to be sex. So I'm kind of glad...
It's not. I knew it's not going to be.
Yeah. So I was kind of glad at the end when the treats end up being monogrammed berets. It kind of just... If it had have ended on that, I would have thought that would have, helped make up for so much of the incredibly, just crass sexist humour through most of the movie, but then, oh no, the
Oh
Nordic
no.
aliens gave them a couple of necklaces to give the twins, which make their boobs go bigger, which the twins find
Oh.
absolutely delightful, apparently. It's just like, really?
Oh yeah, I
Okay.
cringed. You thought it could have been so much more redeemable than that at that last minute. Oh, remember who this audience is for?
Indeed.
Yeah, I thought they could have done without it for sure, and I don't think they'd be so forgiving or okay with it. But I think that it is like, what are you care about? Anyway.
Yeah, the twins showed that they were pretty serious and pretty straight-laced. I did like the bit, though, when they went to the twins' house and they saw the yard from the outside and the mess everywhere. There was just a guy passed out on the roof. That was a nice touch.
Oh yeah, no, that's the thing, and there was so many visual gags and things like that, and I think, yeah, as I said, I've read a review afterwards that mentioned a lot of TV tropes and movie tropes. Like another movie, a movie we have looked at for the podcast, but Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, they threw that in there at one stage too, and I was kind of hoping it would be more of the Christy Swanson character kind of coming and taking, or I don't know, picking up the boyfriend that had been such a dick. But again, the whole boyfriend thing wasn't sort of developed as much. I thought he'd be sort of the main villain of the whole thing, but he kind of just needed to come along and be the one that broke that transmitter.
Pretty much. And just make crass jokes and be the stoner bashing time.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much his entire
The dickhead,
character.
yeah.
Yeah, the dickhead. He was a good dickhead. And after all the hilarity that ensued, you've always got to wonder if they have outtakes. If they have outtakes in the closing credits.
Oh my god! And I know we still occasionally get bloopers or outtakes nowadays, but it's such an early 2000s thing. It almost was meant to happen, wasn't it? To have one of these at the end of the movie.
Yeah, and I mean, because we got to stick through the credits, and I got to admit, I didn't mind listening to the music in the closing credits.
Oh, I was probably quite impressed too. Like I noticed it was 2 different songs too. Yeah.
Right up until the final, the very final last second, and then.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So for those who haven't seen it, you'll hear a bit of reference to "and then." Probably could be the most annoying thing you've ever heard, but it's kind of got some humour to it. And how many people, Trevor, haven't wanted to bash the takeaway microphone in the drive-through? So I was kind of living it through that.
Yeah, well, let's put it this way, "and then" is pretty much the only reference that Susie and I will make about this movie, or use from this movie, because, let's face it, we do use a lot of references from pop culture, things that we like. And it's like the only thing that we agree on is in this movie is worth referencing.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say there wouldn't be too much else you want to reference with this. So yeah, but I do like it, and I'd like to award the best name for, or probably the weakest name. No, probably the least thought put into a Chinese restaurant name. Just calling it Chinese food.
Yep, indeed, indeed. Well, that's got us to the end of the movie. Kristian, was there anything else that stood out to you that you wanted to mention?
Oh, not at this stage. I do have a couple of awards. Like I know they didn't have Razzies, but a couple of awards. Of course, worst representation of a transgender character, but probably more worst representation of everybody else's dialogue towards the transgender character. That's probably the way I should awkwardly announce it. Worst Fabio cameo. Trevor, if you're going to have a cameo from Fabio, you expect a little bit. Oh, no, right. You'd expect a little bit more, but we got payoff with that kissing scene, so I'll pay that one. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, best name for a Chinese restaurant, Chinese food. and then
oh good. Well, thinking of and then we got on to, I guess, working out if this movie is actually redeemable. Now, I did choose this one, Kristian, so I guess after you, my friend.
Oh, damn it. I forgot they went in that order. But look, Trevor, I've got a bit more of a perspective now knowing that you recommended this and not a lister. Not that that matters too much, but I can see that it's got that fun and that kind of referential visual gag type stuff that you can pick up on as a movie. I really missed it the first time round, but the good thing about this movie is at least the leads are likable. There's nothing really mean-spirited in it. It's really just come back to me really stoned at midnight watching this movie, and I think I would probably appreciate it a hell of a lot more. But I really appreciate it. I think I'd like to see it again, just more to take in sort of the genre tropes and the different pop culture references. But all I can say, and Dan, is whether it's redeemable. It's so hard. It's redeemable for the stone. It's redeemable. It's so tricky. Its existence is still a bit baffling, and I felt my brain was dying. But honestly, Trevor, I'm probably going to have to say irredeemable, even though it is on the cusp. But yeah, we're looking at it from a film perspective, not a stoner perspective.
Fair enough. Yeah, I've got to admit, I was very borderline as well, and I suppose
tricky. Yeah,
very tricky. So look, I mean, from redeemable aspects, there were a number of good songs on the soundtrack, and some of the gags were mildly amusing, really, with a couple of very rare standouts. When Jesse and Chester got a bit more camp with their relationship, it just seemed to be a lot more fun. I mean, honestly, those two did have very good chemistry, and when it was played up to, that's probably when this movie was at its best. But of course, a lot of the gags were questionable. Even in the year 2000 was a bit questionable, and unfortunately the whole transphobic stuff is just I know there was a lot of it back then, but it's just like, come on guys. And then at the end, look, I think again it's very, 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 very fine line, I think, on this one. But I found that with the relationship between Jesse and Chester being so positive, and there was just enough amusing stuff in here for me to think that it pushed it just over the line to be just redeemable.
Look, that's fair enough, Trevor. As I said, I feel a little bit guilty. I'm probably, but look, we're both kind of on the cusp. I'm on the irredeemable side. Maybe ask me another 10 years, I might be able to reevaluate it.
I think definitely is one that also helps very much with your, let's say, state of mind at the time.
Check back to me then.
Oh, good. Okay, well, there we go. We've got a split decision, meaning that people are just going to have to make up their own mind. But the title of this podcast is Redeeming Features. So we do like to finish on a high note. So I went back to Amazon and I found another review. This one's a bit longer, to be honest. And I mentioned something that I could have mentioned during, but we'll save it for the review. Okay, the smartest stupid movie I've ever seen. Wall-to-wall fun and a masterpiece in the dumb movie genre. There's a lot I like about this movie. It has heart and has some likeable and interesting characters, and it does a lot with a little. They seem to have set out to make a dumb movie that could be enjoyed with minimal brainpower expenditure, and they could have used that as permission to slack off and create something lazy that was momentarily entertaining and ultimately forgettable. Instead, they used the dumb movie premise as an excuse to completely ignore questions about plausibility and create an engaging plot that makes sense by its own bizarre logic. A lot of thought and heart went into this movie. It's the best dumb movie it could have been, and maybe the smartest stupid movie I've ever seen. Plus he gets prop for, "Will now use the power of the continuing transfunctioner to banish you to Hoboken, New Jersey," which is a great out of context line. 5 stars.
And I've been to Hoboken, New Jersey. You don't really want to go there.
Oh dear.
But, oh wow! So, hey, I do appreciate the smartest stupid movie. Maybe not necessarily the smartest, but I can see the stupid cleverness of the whole thing. Actually.
Indeed. It's got its I mean, I guess that's what you can say about this movie. It's got its moments.
Probably wouldn't sustain. I wouldn't say I laughed out loud the full hour 23, but sometimes moments is all you need.
Indeed. So, that's Dude, Where's My Car with a split decision, I guess we need to think about what the next movie we're going to watch is. And I'm wondering, Kristian, if you have any suggestions.
Well, I might need you to double check the year for me. I won't be able to give that to you offhand. Look, I hadn't looked at my list again recently and was thinking I really need to think about a podcast movie. And this particular title, I do watch a lot of American film, as we all do, but the title of this movie has come up a couple of times in the last couple of months, and I thought, hang on, that's on my list. There's got to be a reason for that. So don't quote me on this, 1998, it might be a little bit later, but we're going to go back to a movie which I believe contributed to killing, I suppose, for the interim Eddie Murphy's career. It's a movie called The Adventures of Pluto Nash. You've probably heard of it, Trevor, but Americans often go that it was the movie which pretty much ended Eddie Murphy having a big run of, I suppose, box office hits. I think it might be early 2000s, late 90s, but I might need you to double check that.
That's all good. Well, I'm doing a little search for it now. There you go. Man on the internet looks up something live on YouTube. Okay, it was 2002. 2002.
Okay, there we go. So it's often referred to in especially people who live in America, like a lot of titles that aren't as big out here, as it's quite infamous box office bomb of the early 2000s. So, and when you think about it, I suppose that would have been after a big run of Eddie Murphy having quite a big hits into the late 90s. So let's have a look at what this movie is they're talking about.
We shall indeed. I'm looking at a few screen grabs at the moment going,
I think it's a really bad space movie.
It looks like a pretty dodgy... The Adventures of Pluto Nash, The Man on the Moon is the subtitle. And I can tell you quite clearly that there is no streaming options here in Australia.
Damn! I'm sorry, audience. I didn't. But hey, sometimes if it's rarer, it means it's ripe for being discovered. So sometimes you've got to dig a little bit deeper.
Sometimes these movies can just be watched for free on YouTube, let's face it. So that's something I'll be checking out myself. Oh dear. Okay, so there we go. From Dude, Where's My Car to The Adventures of Pluto Nash. That seems like quite a jump.
I'm pretty impressed with myself for recommending something that's at least in the 2000s. It's very modern of me.
It is. Wow, you're coming into the 20th century. 21st, 2000th
Blame
century.
you not having my list handy and going off memory. There were other corkers, Trevor, but you've avoided them just for now.
Oh, good. Okay, so there we go. So if anybody out there wants to have their say on the adventures of Pluto Nash, it's very easy to get in touch with us. Just send an email to redeem@rufusproject.com or leave a comment on the Rufus Project Presents Facebook page, or even join our Patreon at patreon.com/rufusproject. Unless you're watching this live stream, I'll edit this bit out, in which case you're already here. Yay, we love you. You will not only get access to, you'll get early access to all our podcasts, as well as a whole pile of exclusive audio and video content. Will we do this live stream again? I don't know.
Up in the air. We want your feedback.
Yes, we do indeed. Now, Kristian, I understand you've got, you're doing a bunch of, in these lockdown times where we can't unfortunately party together.
I can't believe we're saying that 4 months later, but yeah, we're still doing a few online parties, which we might have mentioned last time. So probably the best thing I can say is head to Facebook, Brisbane Retro, and Kristian Fletcher Events, or christianfletcher.com, and we've got all sorts of things there happening every weekend, because in Brisbane, venues aren't allowing dancing, so what's the point of having a dancer party? So let's go online and crank the music up at home and create your own dance party. So that's kind of what we're doing at the moment. So keep a look out on the websites or on Facebook, because there'll always be something happening. And even when this finishes, they'll be back to doing venues again. Thank you.
Google? You broke up again. Sorry. Yeah, so...
So did you. Shit.
Fair enough. Okay.
It's working now. Oh, shit. I walk this way a bit.
That's okay.
Has that
This is
has
gonna
that
be
made it better or worse?
well. It comes and goes. So yeah, there's not much we can do about
Okay.
that. We're almost
Well,
done.
let's just get
We're
the
almost
last bit
there.
in while I can.
We're
I might
almost
have
there.
to work out another spot to do it closer to the router or something next time.
That's all good. So yeah. So we shall return in the foreseeable future. I know we're not doing this on a regular basis at the moment, but we're doing what we can given
Yeah, everything's
uh,
up in the air.
all the oddities of our time.
Mm-hmm.
So
2020, and hey, at least you can look back and go, at least these guys reviewed this movie in 2020. Dude, where's our car? Where's my car? So
because we know that was what everyone was crying out for.
oh yeah, it'll go viral next week.
We'll see. And so we shall return in the very near future with another redeeming features to see if we can redeem the adventures of Pluto Nash from 2002.
Don't blame me. Thanks so much, everybody.
We can totally blame you, and we will see you next time. Farewell. A nice visual game for the podcast audience. Okay.
Oh, there we go. That's me leaving as the request. As I said,
good.
Trevor, I didn't want to say too much, but yeah, I got here and realised I didn't have my list handy. But then I'm like, hang on, that was on the list. So there we go.
All good. Well, I'm going to stop the recording.
Oh yeah, I'll better get off anyway.
That's
I'm normally at mum and dad's, and the reception there all seems to be a lot better because it's a smaller house. Seems to cut out a little bit around here.
That's all good. We're still live streaming, by the way.
Sorry.
We're still live streaming.
Hey.
Hey, everybody. Well.
Yes. Okay. Maybe tech issues, behind the scenes stuff, but
yes.
Yeah, I should be able to work it out for next time. So, okay, I better go anyway.
All good. So yeah,
that should record fine. You've got all the copies on your end.
Yeah, that's all recorded through Zoom. Yep. Thank you for watching this on Patreon, and who watched this on Patreon and actually made it through this. In which case, I think you should give yourself a badge.
Oh yeah. A big badge, yeah.
Yeah.
And having to put up with my tech issues as well. So thank you so much for sticking by us.
So this is why it takes a little while to get the audio out, because I've got to edit this shit.
Usually my fault.
It's what it is. It's all about... Oh, my hands are And, yeah. Okay, I'm going to stop the stream now. So Kristian and I may talk a bit more, but until now, thank you for watching us live on Patreon. And we'll be bringing more Patreon fun stuff to you very soon. So, farewell to the Patreons. Please stop.
Do it here, and it seems to be a bit better reception at mum and dad, so it should be. I'll make sure it's better for next time. So,
all good. Okay.
Hopefully that's okay.
To be warned, Susie said she was putting together a big list for you.
Oh my god, I want her to. Oh yeah, she said you still got taking requests. I'm like, yeah. This means that some guys want. So.
Sorry, your video froze on the most awesome.
She might literally give me that many.
Yeah. Sorry, the video.
Oh, okay.
Video froze.
Well,
you were like
said,
this.
I said, give me 1 million songs, so hopefully. Yeah.
Yep.
It's probably not pausing anymore. Anyway, I better go, Trevor. So, because this is about to go flat. So
okay.
I'll make sure I'm in a better spot next time. So.
Cool.
Good. Well, I'll see you on the weekend anyway.
Indeed.
Well, it turns over to me. Okay, I'm leaving now.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Why won't you stop?